Hi, Arnim. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Anthony. Thanks for the invitation. It's my pleasure.
Let's start by asking you to tell us a bit about the University of Bayreuth and your role there, but also something about the SGroup Universities network.
So the University of Bayreuth is a small university in Germany, in northern Bavaria, and we are very research oriented. We are locally rooted, but we're operating globally. I oversee 3 gateway offices for the University of Bayreuth in Melbourne, Shanghai, and Bordeaux. And I'm also closely connected to the operations of 4 African cluster centers that are located as research units of our university in partnership with our partners in Kenya, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and South Africa. The University of Bayreuth is very international, has a lot of teaching programs in English and research foci who truly tackle global challenges, and our interface philosophy is decisive for our multidisciplinary and cross-sectoral approach towards research and teaching. So I'm the head of global engagement and international relations at the University of Bayreuth, and I also happen to be president of the SGroup Universities in Europe, a network of universities that has been in existence for over 3 decades. It comprises currently 42 universities from Europe and beyond. And I think we are a network of collaborators with regard to knowledge transfer and shared expertise in our think tank academy, as well as through joint projects on national, binational, and European level.
Thank you very much. I wondered if you could now tell us a bit about your institutional approach to internationalization at home at Bayreuth, and also what we know about the approach or some of the features of internationalization at home across the SGroup network.
First of all, I think internationalization at home is very important because considering that only 2 to 3% of global learners have access to mobility, internationalization at home is an important set of strategies and activities to make internationalization and global higher education less elitist, more sustainable, and deeper embedded into higher education and professional life. And it is crucial to bring an international experience to everyone. And I think that well-structured and coordinated digital formats, especially in cooperation with partners worldwide, enable us to interpret that even both ways, because we offer an international experience not only to our students here, we offer an international experience to students who cannot travel for different reasons at their respective home destination. Thus, we open internationalization up to new target groups. And internationalization at home, after all, is one of the most efficient cross-sectoral tools that considers many areas in the context of campus and curriculum internationalization and internationalization of research and intercultural exchange between students and staff and digital transformation. In Bayreuth, we have a structured internationalization strategy for over a decade now that has one strong focus on internationalization at home. I think we need a professional and interculturally competent and entrepreneurial campus and curriculum internationalization as core principles of this strategic internationalization element, aiming at a deep international immersion regarding content and perspectives, languages, and collaboration and conversation in hybrid contact. The SGroup is a network of universities that know each other, that have built trust over time. It combines a significant expertise on European projects and on all techniques and activities within international higher education and also internationalization at home, stretching towards IHES, the International Higher Education for Society and societal impact of universities. So the SGroup is very proficient in all these activities, and we are very happy that we have an exchange of promising practices and shared expertise and knowledge transfer between our members in a very good and productive way in all our activities, as I've mentioned, joint projects and the Think Tank Academy, for instance.
Thank you. Perhaps you could tell us a bit more about what you think is distinctive about the activities in internationalisation at home at Bayreuth and how you think students have benefited from those.
I think in principle, the University of Bayreuth covers all professional aspects of internationalization at home, academically and administratively and socially. However, I think we have focused on enhancing the use of easily accessible online tools and streamlining our digital workflows in order to inform, educate, and connect our students and staff better. And one more distinct feature might be that we continued our hybrid equilibrium of internationalization at home, especially in the area of global services, continuously, even during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I know that I remember that the University of Kent has done a survey on internationalization at home already back in 2018 and among our SGroup members. And if I remember correctly, 22 out of 25 universities back then acknowledged features of internationalization at home in their institutional strategies. And those were international networking opportunities and interactive and during COVID-19, mostly remote language learning opportunities, intercultural awareness training and additional internationally focused classes and learning opportunities, as well as international festivals and internationally focused societies and clubs, online learning ventures with international universities worldwide, and so on. So all these features that were mentioned as important by our SGroup colleagues are also true for the University of Bayreuth and most of our partners in the SGroup. Of course, the advantage of being in SGroup, as I said, is the strong network of shared expertise and promising practices in the Think Tank Academy and through joint project-related conversations. And during our SGroup Think Tank Academy webinars in 2020 and 2021, as well as during the contributions of SGroup members, such as yourselves, Anthony, at international conferences, many other aspects such as COIL and virtual mobility were mentioned as being at the heart of current developments, also in internationalization at home.
Thanks for sharing that with us. Can you tell us a bit more maybe about some of the challenges which you've experienced or faced?
Absolutely. I think as a non-native English higher education context that Bayreuth is in, one challenge sometimes is the misunderstanding of some that an international curriculum means to give the same course just in a foreign language, mainly English, without focusing on integrating global perspectives into content and methodology. And then what I also see from time to time is a reluctant buy-in among students and staff, especially from internationalization champions, astonishingly enough, because they still feel it is not real when no or only virtual mobility is involved. And I think, especially with regard to new contacts, we partly sensed during COVID-19, also in the area of internationalization at home, lack of emotional connection with the target group due to the digital wall, combined with the challenge of building a relationship of trust. So in-person communication on campus, on or with representatives of a certain destination or culture, to some seems to be artificial, even if foreign languages are involved, if mobility is not involved. But on the other hand, digital communication is direct and efficient, but sometimes lacks other dimensions because only two senses are used. So the narrowing of communication makes it more one-dimensional, and many questions and their solutions only arise in conversation with intermediate tones. So any mediation in intercultural encounters requires a relationship of trust, and which is difficult to establish digitally. With regard to the S-Group, I think in the context of our conversations lately and the survey you did at the time, that hard challenges were mentioned. That are also true, of course, for the University of Bayreuth to a certain extent. And with regard to resources, where time and money, of course, for building up activities. And then, of course, strategic support, and then also necessary, sometimes external professional training, operative support from the institution. So these are basic challenges that have to be tackled at the start and then continuously, of course.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And you mentioned some of the strategic challenges. I wondered if you could tell us what you think about the extent to which the higher education strategy in Germany supports this form of internationalization.
Well, in both the European Union, sorry to mention that, and Germany, we are lucky to have strategic awareness and support and substantial funding programs supporting internationalization at home through Erasmus and the Euraccess network, the DAD, the German Academic Exchange Service, the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, to name just a few. On the federal level, that is to say in our case in Bavaria, and on institutional level, we also have created strategic awareness and support, as well as flexible funding opportunities for internationalization at home. That is particularly important for the onboarding of faculty and staff and the feasibility of activities, of course.
Absolutely. I completely share those views and challenges. I wondered if you could share with us what you've learned about internationalization at home since the pandemic.
It's a little bit like working from home, isn't it? What we've learned is simply at home is not enough, but it is better than nothing. So I think internationalization at home and internationalization as such should be digital, that is to say physical and digital, and local, that is to say global and local, and both ways, in order to bring the global truly to the local and the local truly to the global. Moreover, I think well-balanced and complementing hybrid modes of research, teaching, and service in internationalization at home offer more efficient support for target groups due to freedom of time and freedom from location constraints. And of course, the more efficient organization of work in the context of team communication proved to be furthering internationalization at home, especially in larger teams, and always with the help of student assistants. And the work distribution and evaluation of project progress in internationalization at home seemed to be easier. And of course, the interactive and cooperative work on joint documents in the process of internationalization at home, in training contexts, etc., made it more flexible and location independent, of course. And that was, I think, a plus for flexible time management. And of course, internationalization at home saw in the pandemic a more efficient and uncomplicated integration of internal and external stakeholders via sharing platforms. And of course, we could save some time and costs for external consultations, and it was location independent. So I think we saw in the fact that target groups become more self-reliant, and as digital services concretizes and focuses process and requires greater initiative. But we miss the in-person part of it all and look forward to the future mix.
Absolutely. So it's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but retaining the residual benefit and running internationalization at home in that digital blend that you described so well. Thank you for that. And so I wonder if you've got any plans for next steps for the development of internationalization at home at Bayreuth or even within the S-Group?
We do, Anthony, we do. And I think most things are focused in internationalization at home on a reasonable digital transformation towards hybrid modes. So use of e-learning platforms for COIL, and then a mixed blended process, in-person and digital, that is maintained where useful and necessary, or complemented by digital formats, or even in certain areas completely transformed into digital formats. And then, of course, what was clear and what became even more clear in the middle of the process of Erasmus without paper, which is a big challenge at the moment in the Erasmus area, we clearly saw that we have to focus on digitizing all documents. So I would say internationalization at home without paper is one of the things that we will focus on. And then, of course, we use matching tools for networking now. which works very well. We see a stronger dovetailing of proven digitization instruments and innovative tools coming. And with regard to the S-Group, I think I could mention our joint keenness to support a new coil venture across S-Group. And I think that'd be excellent if we could pull that off within the next, let's say, 18 months together.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing those thoughts to us today, Arnim. It's been great to have you with us.
Excellent. It's been great talking to you, as always. My pleasure.
Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you soon.